What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Spencer. Taking a look at, we're back on Dueling book, but this time I'm checking out my favorite deck of all time. That is Invoked, Winged Dragon of Ra, Shaddolls, Dogmatika. It sounds like a hodgepodge. You've never seen it. It is, but it just works. It simply just works. It's a blind going second deck. I've been developing it for 2 years now. And every time I look back at it, like I like, oh, I think I want to play this deck. I'm like, ugh, this deck is just not very good. And then I play it, and it never fails to impress me. I know like what it is. It's not a competitive deck. It's not a rogue deck. It's just better than it should be. That's probably the best way I can describe it. I think this is the best version of the Shaddolls version of Invoked as it is right now, because Shaddolls Fusion, of course, depends on your opponent. And 99% of the time, your opponent's going to be going into the extra deck, right? So I have Couple Draw in my hand, a Schism, because this is a mid-range deck, the way it's played. You're like turboing out Winged Dragon of Ra, but you also can go first if need be. Now, if I was going first in this time, that would be bad. But luckily, I would say, again, another like above 90% of the time, if you win, of course, you're going to send it to your opponent, which isn't the greatest thing in the world because your opponent's going to be mad sus. But if they do beat you in the die roll or the rock, paper, scissors, they're probably going to go first, right? So he's starting off with Zeta, Alpha, Cyber Emergency, another Delta. I don't know if I said that right. And Cyber Angel Idaten. Okay, so he's going to go, and I have, draw. Oh, I think I talked about that. My bad. I had to re-record this, so sometimes I mix up my words. But he's going to use Cyber Emergency, and he searches, so I'm like, cool, draw. And I got a little nervous here because like now he may just pass his turn, but then I'm thinking, okay, we're playing in rated, so he must think I'm playing something good. So that means he's probably going to try to do something, and he is, even though he can't search. I don't know. It's almost like worth it. Like it's like saying that your opponent, like, hey, like have something good, because I didn't. Like that's the hilarious thing about all of this. So he's going to use, the Delta to pitch the Idaten, and this is wild. I mean, this is wild. So he's going to go into Fafnir. Fafnir's going to go ahead and dump probably, like, just follow up. Yeah, Gamma. Okay. This is so wild. Because I have him. Like, now that he's, like, actually trying to do something, like, I don't even know what it's worth. Like, he's so cooked. And this could have been a bad read on my part, but okay, so, I mean, this is obviously well, I know now it's a bluff, but when a spell trap card is activated, you can send one fairy monster from your hand to the graveyard and negate the activation if you do destroy it. And he doesn't have any ritual spells up to, right? But this says up to 2 ritual monsters and or. So he can add an Idaten back to his hand, which is interesting. And then he just passes turn. I top deck a Shaddolls Beast, which is actually really good. So in my mind, I'm thinking, okay, why would he make this if he didn't have a spell and trap negate? For a moment, I thought I was like, oh, this is very bad. Because he lets this go through, and he says think, and I'm like, okay. He gives me the thumbs up on Slumber too, which is like really kind of frustrating, but he can't even do anything. Very annoying, but okay, so we can go ahead and go there. So I'm thinking like, oh no, like I can't use Shaddolls Fusion now. I thought I was going to bait this out and then use it, but like I've meticulously built this deck. So this is a light monster. So I can actually just activate Shaddolls Fusion and use it with Shaddolls Beast. I run a lot of Shaddolls monsters because you actually kind of want to open up one. Because you can use Invocation to summon. You can use it with Guardian Slime actually to summon too. Like you can hard make with Shaddolls Fusion or use Invocation. That was pretty wild, in my opinion. Okay, so this is how the deck works always. This is always how your opponent wants to do it. Or sometimes your opponent thinks, this is a blind going second deck. I don't even know what it is. He really doesn't. He didn't even let me activate Shaddolls Fusion. He just quit, which is so wild. But what I would have done is made Shaddolls Construct. Shaddolls Construct would have sent Windy, and I would have banished his graveyard, and he wouldn't have had any follow-up. But honestly, it's kind of weird that he didn't. Like, he just quit so fast. But yeah, I guess that's fine. Okay, so Alistair the Invoker. Like, this is just, okay, now I'm just playing Invoked, right? It would have been cool to see the Dogmatika engine, but this should be okay against Drytron, to be honest with you. At least in my mind. Okay, it should help slow them down because, okay, I'm going to stop them. The only thing I care about is Zeta, which is the ritual spell, because if he goes into Zeus, I have answers. I have a lot of answers for that. I literally have the answer. It's the best card against it. Not the best card, but it's one of the good ones. And I can also bluff because I open up 2 Alistair. So if I pitch Alistair off of this, he's going to think I don't have any in my hand, which is just really good follow-up. And okay, we're going to go ahead and go to the main phase. He's got Alpha, Ben 10, Nova, Sanctuary, discard 1 spell, add 1 light ritual monster, or 1 ritual spell from your deck to your hand. You can shuffle any number of spells from your graveyard into the deck, then target 1 light fairy monster in your graveyard. Special summon it. Oh, so that's a pretty cool card, actually. I kind of like that. We'll see what he ends up doing here. He's going to go ahead and start with Nova. That's cool. Yeah, he's going to... So when he brings out Zeta, I'm like, ooh, check. That's not checkmate, because I know he's going to go into Fafnir to send the ritual spell, but if he's doing that, I'm in a really, really, really good spot. So he's going to go ahead and activate the Sire Emergency, essentially telling me that he has Alpha in his hand as well. So there's less and less mystery cards here that I'm dealing with. I know 2 as of right now, because he wouldn't have searched out Gamma otherwise. Okay, so he's going to go ahead and go for the Zeta. I will, of course, negate that, because it banishes, so he doesn't have any follow-up as well. But he does get Ben 10. That's a thing. It's a really good thing, actually. Again, he's going to go for Diviner. I can kind of see that. And then I'm just going to go ahead and think. So, all right. I know I want to Forbidden Droplets this, right? Because otherwise he's going to send Herald, and he's just going to go off, essentially. So do I send Dino? I'm like, okay, he has Alpha and Gamma in his hand. I mean, like I said, I don't know 100% that he has Alpha, but I know he has Alpha. So he's going to be able to go into Zeus. Like, that's just a fact. I actually have protection battle-wise with Guardian Slime, which is pretty cool. So I'm like, man, I'm just going to risk it to get the biscuit. Sometimes you got to risk it. Because he's going to have to go... Like, he's not going to have good ritual plays at this point. Okay, this is a really interesting thing here. I don't know if this is true necessarily. Okay, I've seen this ruling one time in one game somewhere, but it wasn't for Drytrons. I don't think you can send something and then bring it back in the same vein. I want to know in the comment section. This is really one of the primary reasons why I uploaded this video. Can you do that? Can you pitch Alpha and then immediately bring it back? For some reason, I tried to look it up. I tell him big thing because I wasn't sure, but I don't think you can do that. I really don't. But okay, we'll see how this plays out. Fafnir can go ahead and dump the ritual spell, which is like he's so far out of gas at this point, right? Like Drytrons aren't the greatest thing with like card advantage, however you want to call it. It's really about blowing you out and getting the win that way. So that's going to go ahead and go down to 1,000 attack. And he can only activate. He can only ritual summon 1 time. So that's really good for me. He's thinking. He's going to go for Alpha pitching Alpha. So literally just 1 blank card in hand, and it's actually a dud. You can't use it. Maybe he could have played his turn a little bit differently. I'm not sure, but he does go for Idatin there. He's not going to be able to ritual summon, which is great for me. He goes for Hulk, and then he summons Ash, but like you can't do that. I just realized it. So he's going to try to go into some link plays, and I'm like, wait a second. You cannot special summon monsters, set monsters that cannot be normal summoner set. I don't think he was trying to like game shark me. I don't know what it's called. Is that what it's called? Game sharking? But okay. And I'm pretty sure the Herald, I'm just going to tell him that too, but yeah. Okay. So now he's going to go into Boral Sword. Was not expecting Boral Sword. In his mind, he's going for a game. So he's going to go ahead and attack directly. And he's thinking, GG's, I'll see you next game. But I'm like, nope. He's like, can I read it? I'm like, yes. Well, you can because it's special summoned now. And the thing is, this is... this Boral Sword can't gain attack because this is like doesn't have anything, and it's just gonna match this, which is hilarious. So it's literally just a protected brick, and he's gonna make Zeus. I knew he was like it's just guaranteed. Top deck Shaddolls fusion. I think he scooped, which is so unfortunate because I would have loved to have played this all the way out. Because here's okay. Well, I'll just go as far as I can, but. And okay, so I'm gonna go for Egyptian God Slime, which is going to trigger, but I think once I trigger, he quits. Okay, here we go. So this is gonna search me Ancient Chant. Ancient Chant comes to my hand. Then it's pretty easy to bait out Zeus. So I can special summon out Pankratops. He's going to activate Zeus. Everything's going to get off the board. I can normal summon Alistair because I have a fusion in graveyard. Search Invocation, go into the Agodes, or whatever it's called. Agodes. The one that pops on field. So that's going to go ahead and get, well, that's true. So let's start this back because it is pretty like fragile. So special summon Pankratops. He's going to activate Zeus because he has to. He's going to wipe the field. And then I can activate Shaddol Fusion. Shaddol Fusion can get me 3 materials. So Shaddolls, you can send like Windy. Windy can special summon out. I can also send the Performance Trick Clown. So that's 3 materials. And keep in mind, I have Ancient Chant in my hand at this moment. Then I can normal summon Alistair. Pop his Zeus, through the Agodes, and tribute summon for the Winged Dragon of Ra. So that's pretty neat. It's pretty neat. But yeah, he ended up just quitting, which is kind of funny. But yeah, that was a pretty cool duel. I wanted to go over that ruling. I wanted to show off the deck because I think it's super hilarious, super funny. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. Other than that, that's going to do it for today's video, and I'll see you guys next time.